Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. Moses and the Messiah. Today's episode is called Moses and the Messiah. Moshe and the Mashiach. What is the relationship between these two important figures? And what's the similarities? What's the differences? First of all, we have to understand something very clear. That we learn about Moshe Rabbeinu. That Moshe Rabbeinu is the first Mashiach and the last Mashiach. That Moshe Rabbeinu is the first Redeemer and the last Redeemer. So what does this mean? That Moses himself is going to take us out of Egypt, out of Galus, out of exile and into the days of Mashiach? But does it mean that? Kind of, and I'll explain to you how. Moshe Rabbeinu was the Mashiach of the times of Egypt, of our redemption from Egypt. Moshe Rabbeinu was the leader who brought us out of Egypt. Obviously, it's all from Hashem, but it was done through Moshe Rabbeinu as our leader. When we go out of exile, the Mashiach is going to take us out of exile and into the redemption. He will be the Moshe Rabbeinu of the last generation. And the Moshe Rabbeinu was the Mashiach of his generation. You see where I'm getting at? Basically what I'm trying to say here is they are both the Mashiach of their time. And they are both the Moses of their time. Moses and Mashiach. Since Moshe, every generation after Moses, there's been a Moses / Mashiach of that generation. The head figure of the Jewish people. Just like a body has a head, so too the Jewish people have a head. And that is the Messiah, the Mashiach, the Moshe Rabbeinu of that generation. He's the one who connects all of the Jewish people to their source, to Hashem. Of course, we're all one with Hashem. We all have a relationship with Hashem. But Hashem created the world in a way where there should be a leader who he has the highest apprehension of godliness, and it is his job to teach his students. Why? Because Hashem made the world in a way where, how do we connect to Hashem? How do we learn Torah? Through others. Of course, there's prophets who experience prophecy, and even in the times of Moses, there were other prophets who experienced prophecy, and someone asked Moses, how could it be? How do you let them be prophets? You're the big prophet. Why are you allowing them to be prophets? And what did Moshe Rabbeinu say? Halavai, everyone should be prophets. If only everyone should be prophets, meaning Mashiach is going to teach each and every one of us how we can be prophets. In the days of Mashiach, we will all be prophets. The Mashiach will help us become prophets of ourselves. So that is the general relationship between Moshe and the Mashiach, is that the Mashiach will be the Moses who will take us out of our situation. And they're like the same soul in a way. Because it says there's a ishpatuta, the Moshe Rabbeinu b'chol hadoros. There's a spark of Moses in every generation. It says that Mordechai Yehudi, Mordechai the Jew, Mordechai from the story of Purim, he was Moses of his generation. We also learn that all the Rebbeim are the Moses of their generations, of our generation, the Rebbe. We also learn that the Rambam is like Moshe of his generation. We also learn that Rashi is the Moshe of his generation, and so on and so forth. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and many more. David HaMelech. So this also relates to David HaMelech, because there's a David HaMelech of every generation. The Moshiach is also the David HaMelech of his generation. So basically, he's the fact that he's Moses. He's like the head leader of the generation. Also, the Mashiach has to be a descendant of David HaMelech. To be a direct descendant of David HaMelech on his father's side, and he has to be from the house of David. And David HaMelech was the Moses of his generation. And so too Mashiach will be the Moses and the David HaMelech of his generation. He will re-reveal the dynasty of David HaMelech, of King David, to the world. He will be the heir to the throne of King David. This is something really to get excited about, because it's very interesting that we have Moshe Rabbeinu, a central figure of Judaism. He's the one who was given the Torah. He was our leader. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe our rabbi. He's our Mashiach. And the Mashiach will be our Moshe. So they're very, you know what I mean? Like, Moshe and Mashiach. Moses is a Mashiach of his generation. He is a glimpse. It gives us a little glimpse into who our Mashiach will be. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this meant something to you. And let's take it into our hearts, because this is beautiful Chassidus, beautiful Torah, and it's known that, I'll give you one last beautiful source. It says that when Hashem asked Moses to go take the Jewish people out of Egypt and into Israel, Moses was very humble, and he was reluctant at first. And so at one point he said to Hashem, Hashem, send the one you will send. Rashi explains that one interpretation of this means, one way to look at it is, it means Aaron, send my older brother Aaron. Let him take care, let him be the leader. He's been the leader, and let him continue to be. The other way Rashi explains it is, send the one you ultimately will send. Send the Mashiach. He's the one who's going to finish the full revelation of the redemption. Send him now. And we learned that the Mashiach will be right up to Moses, right under Moses in prophecy. Be a prophet like Moses, and he will facilitate the Messianic era, which will actually cause greater revelations than even that of which took place at Mount Sinai, where lastly, we will see an even higher level of prophecy than even Moshe Rabbeinu was revealed in his time. So I hope you guys like this message. May Hashem bless you all. May we experience all of this today.